Have you ever looked at someone you've known your entire life and felt, just for a second, that something was off? Like they weren't the person you thought they were? Tonight, on the Grim Tapes, we unravel a myth so chilling, so ancient, that it has haunted generations across Europe and beyond, the myth of the changeling. What if your loved one was replaced by something inhuman? What if the stories our ancestors told were warnings, not folklore? Tonight's journey will span medieval legends, real-life accounts, cultural interpretations, disturbing historical cases, and psychological theories. So sit back, turn the lights down, and prepare yourself for a deep dive into one of the most eerie and unsettling myths in the world. 1. What is a changeling? The term changeling originates from European folklore and refers to a creature left behind by fairies or other supernatural beings after stealing a human child. In most stories, the kidnapped child is spirited away to the Fey world, and a replica or entirely different being, the changeling, is left in their place. These myths suggest that changelings may look nearly identical to the original child but behave oddly. They may cry all night, show signs of unnatural intelligence or strength, or develop a cold, distant demeanor. Some were said to never age. Others would grow with grotesque deformities or act in violently disturbing ways. The idea of the changeling may sound fantastical, but the implications are deeply disturbing. It speaks to a primal fear, that someone you love is no longer themselves. Or worse, that they never were. 2. Cultural variations of the changeling myth. While the changeling legend is most associated with Celtic and Germanic folklore, the myth spans many cultures. In Ireland, it was believed that fairies would steal away healthy babies, especially boys, to bolster their own populations. Changelings were seen as sickly and would often die young. In Scandinavian folklore, trolls were the culprits. They swapped their own children with humans for a better life. In Slavic myths, the creature left behind was not always a child. Sometimes it was a malformed adult or creature with no human qualities at all. In some Asian cultures, similar tales involve shape-shifting spirits that steal human identities. The details change across continents, but the chilling theme remains the same: abduction, replacement, and deceit by something non-human. 3. Real-life cases and historical interpretations. Shockingly, belief in changelings wasn't always harmless. In history, these myths had deadly consequences. One of the most well-documented cases is the tragic story of Bridget Cleary in Ireland in 1895. Bridget's husband and relatives believed she was a changeling after she began behaving strangely. They accused her of being a fey imposter and ultimately burned her to death in a horrific act of violence. Similar cases occurred throughout Europe where people with disabilities, mental illnesses, or unique traits were accused of being non-human replacements. These stories show how myth can blend with misunderstanding and lead to terrifying acts. 4. Psychological and medical perspectives. Modern science offers a very different take on the changeling myth. Some experts believe these stories arose from misunderstood developmental disorders. Conditions like autism, cerebral palsy, and even undiagnosed physical disabilities may have seemed unexplainable in ancient times. When a child suddenly changed behavior or appearance, it was easier to believe in supernatural causes than accept medical realities. This theory doesn't diminish the power of the myth, it deepens it. It shows how humans use stories to explain what we fear or cannot comprehend. 5. Changelings in pop culture. The myth of the changeling has found a lasting place in modern storytelling. From horror movies to fantasy novels, the unsettling concept of being replaced by something not quite human resonates deeply. In movies like The Changeling, 1980, and stories like Coraline or The Replacement, the idea is modernized but no less horrifying. The theme taps into psychological horror, a fear that reality has been tampered with. Even in science fiction, this idea emerges. Alien replacements, doppelgangers, and artificial intelligences mimic changeling fears in modern settings. 6. Are changelings real? Could there be a kernel of truth in these myths? Some cryptozoologists and paranormal investigators believe the changeling stories could point to a deeper reality, perhaps interdimensional beings, fey entities, or something far older than humanity. There are cases of people claiming their children changed overnight, with no explanation. Are these psychological episodes? Or something more? In folklore, changelings could be driven away with iron, fire, or rituals. Were these symbolic, or do they hint at ancient methods of protection? These questions remain unanswered. 7. The legacy of the changeling myth. The changeling myth is more than just a scary story. It's a reflection of human anxiety, parental fear, and cultural coping mechanisms. It reminds us how fragile identity is and how thin the line between normalcy and the uncanny can be. It also warns us about what happens when myth overrides reason, when fear replaces understanding. Tonight, we've walked through one of the darkest legends in human mythology, the unsettling tale of the changeling. From folklore to horror films, from ancient fears to real-life tragedies, the myth refuses to die. Now we ask you, what do you think? Have you ever had an experience that made you question reality? Do you think the changeling myth was just an explanation for illness, or is it rooted in something more mysterious? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your theories, your stories, and your interpretations. And if this exploration chilled your spine, subscribe to the Grim Tapes for more deep dives into the most disturbing corners of mythology, horror, and the unknown. Like the video, share it with someone who loves creepy folklore, and don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Thank you for watching. Stay curious. Stay brave. And remember, sometimes, the scariest thing is something that looks just like you.